Aloha gang, Dr. Russ Rosen here. Welcome to the OHC System Facebook community masterclass. So glad that you are here. If you don't know me, Dr. Russ Rosen, I help natural healthcare providers like you thrive in a care versus scare, true optimal health model. Get your patients to happily stay, pay, and refer for a lifetime. If you find value in today's class, please let others know about this. We will be diving deeper into some of the subjects in our club. And if you're interested, just go ahead and put club below. I'll give you a free month. Um, the way it works now is I was doing these live, but then Facebook is no longer keeping live videos for more than 30 days. So I'm posting these in the morning. Hopefully you can get through it. And then at 1:30 today, Tuesday, we'll meet, 1:30 California time, we'll meet for live Q&A. So you can type in any questions. I'll answer anything I possibly can. Okay. I've also been told that if I can keep these shorter than 30 and 45 minutes, more people will watch them. We'll see if that's true. So here's what I know. We really want to get our patients to get it. We want them to understand what it is that we're telling them and the extreme value of what we can do for them, but we get frustrated because so many of them don't understand it. They don't get it. They stop care as soon as they feel better or they don't. And they just don't understand the bigger picture. I can tell you the solution to the problem is not educating them more, not telling them more, not lecturing them more. We have to learn a new way of communications. In our last master class, and if you didn't see that, you can go to the guides section, go to our last master class. It was on the neuroscience of communications, helping to learn how to speak from our neocortex to their reptilian brain to get the information past the reptilian brain to the neocortex, thinking, reasoning, problem solving, into the limbic system as a new belief system. So we're going to start to learn how to do some of that. Okay. So I always like to ask ChatGPT. I find it really interesting. I said, tell me what a great consultation between a doctor and their patient. Why is that crucial? And here's what it said. Number one, obviously, accurate diagnosis. Okay, good. I buy that. Effective care or treatment plan. Yeah, if you don't do a good consult, you don't know what's going on. No way you can come up with a real plan for them. Patient trust and comfort. We'll be talking more about that in just a bit. Holistic care. Listen to this. This is really interesting. It says, with a great consultation, doctors can address not just the immediate health issues, but also other factors that might affect the patient's health, such as mental health, social circumstances, and preventative care. Oh, so happy to see this. That's our jam. This is what we do. We help people get healthy, stay healthy, have the best life possible. We give lifestyle advice. We talk with them about the 3 dimensions of stress: eat better, exercise, deal with stress. We do all of these things for them. In that other world, they don't very much. But in our world, that is what we do. And again, it starts with the doctor's consultation. Patient education. Look, during the consultation, there are so many wonderful opportunities to teach. And we're not going to teach by lecturing. We're literally going to draw their story out of them. And instead of cramming it down their throat, what we want to teach them, we're going to apply our story to their story. Oh, so ice and heat have helped you feel better. So instead of lecturing them about ice and heat, I can simply comment and say, so you've done mostly temporary things. You haven't really resolved the problem yet. Is that true? And they'll think, and it'll send right up to the neocortex, into the limbic system, and they'll realize they're not resolving their problems. Okay, so every single step of the way, every single question we're asking, we can teach them something, but it's not by lecturing them and cramming it down their throats. Okay, bunch of other things, bunch of other things, and patient satisfaction. If they don't feel heard, they don't feel that we've addressed the real issues, they're not happy. So it's really important that we do it. So done right, your patient is going to feel heard. They're going to recognize that they're in the presence of an expert, of a master, because it only takes a couple of minutes. It doesn't take a long time when you know how to do a consultation. And then they're ready to move on to the exam, and we don't have to waste a whole lot of our day. And if we don't do a great consultation, they don't get it, and it can completely blow the relationship, and they're not going to hear a word we have to say. So, classic blunders. We try to educate them, we talk at them, we rush them, we let them lead the dance, right? In our version, we're asking very specific Socratic questions, we're leading the dance. They don't feel it, but we know where we're taking them. Oftentimes we try to use scripts, but remember that they don't know what their role is, what they're supposed to say, and if they don't say it, you're kind of screwed. So we want to have a template. We want to have literally a very specific template with a series of questions that we're asking these people so that we can take them from where they're at to where we need to get them to. If we don't do it right, if we do it poorly, they can become disinterested, disengaged. They might shut down, become unresponsive, and they can really just conclude that they're in the wrong place and shut down before we even get to the examination. I recently went to a new chiropractor. They have 6 offices, and they were boasting about their training processes, and I got to be honest, it was horrible. Like, their consultation just meandered. Like, I mean, I do this for a living. I've been teaching this for 25 years, so I get that I can be critical. But I mean, you can see that like somebody helped them understand questions they wanted to ask, but they had no idea what they were trying to accomplish. And once they accomplished it, they just meandered. They didn't move on to the next thing. So we really want to be very clear about where we're at, where we're trying to get people to, and the series of questions we're going to do to ask them there. Now, remember, in the neuroscience of communications, there's the reptilian brain, which is filtering 94 to 98% of all information. So most of it's not making it to the neocortex. The average conversation, they hear about 25% of what we have to say. We want 100%. So we're going to ask Socratic questions. We're going to use stories and metaphors to get them to think. Her? Who, what, why, where, when, how? Why do you think this is going on? Why don't you think it's getting better? What do you think brought this on? What level of health do you want to get to? Wow, what did I do with that? Huh. That is so wild. I was just on a call and there it is. What level of health you want to get to? Just feeling better? Really resolving your issues and getting healthy? So there's very specific things we're doing in the neuroscience of communications to drop it into the limbic system where the belief systems are, where all decisions are made. So we're going to use Socratic questions, stories, and metaphors. Now, right now, what I want to do is give you an overview of the 6 things that we must accomplish during a consultation. Step 1, we need to build rapport. You've all heard it before. Why do you need to build rapport? When average human beings meet each other, we sniff each other under the tail and we're asking friend or foe. If it's friend, we're sending information past the reptilian brain to the neocortex for what? Thinking, reasoning, and problem solving, and we drop it into the limbic system. Remember, the last call we did, we go into great detail about this. Okay, now, if we don't build rapport, they don't trust us, they go into their amygdala, which is fight or flight. And now they can't hear a word because when you're in your amygdala and you're running from a lion, you don't have to ask what continent it came from or how much it weighs. It doesn't matter. Run. So when they're in the amygdala, fight or flight, does anyone ever come to see you in anxiety or fear? Yeah, all the time. So we have to get them out of there. We got to build rapport. Very specific ways in which we do that. It takes about 15 seconds, right? That's not what we're going to be going into right now, but these are the things we need to do. Step 1, build rapport. Step 2, relieve concerns and fears. Again, does anyone come to see you with fear or anxiety? Yes. We need to relieve that concern or fear or they're stuck in their amygdala. Again, it takes about 30 seconds. Now we need to find out why they're really here. Now, I get it. What you're thinking is, well, they're here because they have neck pain. They're here because they have gut issues. That's not why they're here. No one has ever come to see you because of their pain or their symptom. Ever. Not once, and never will. They're here because of loss or potential fear of loss. They've been walking around with stuff going on forever, right? It's now loss or potential fear of loss where they're really wanting to do something about it. They're concerned. So this is a huge piece of the puzzle that I know you've never been taught of how to find out exactly why they're here. It's going to come down to one of three things. It's either going to be a diagnosis or lack of diagnosis. I'm so frustrated. I've tried all these different things. Nothing has worked. I don't know what's going on. Or they're really describing their symptoms or their pain, or they're talking 60 to 80% of the time about how it affects their life at work, play, and home. And now there's a very particular process that we need to go through. I don't want to meander. I don't want to spend a lot of time. If I know how to do this and hit the bullseyes, I can get there in moments. I literally mean in moments. In fact, in the club on Thursday at 11 o'clock a.m. California time, we'll be diving into this in great detail. We will spend an hour on this subject. How do you actually find out why they are here? If it's diagnosis or lack of diagnosis, how do you handle that in 30 seconds so they don't keep going on and whining and whining and whining because you never heard them? If it is describing their pain, how do you handle that very quickly and teach them along the way, right? Again, mostly, OP cure pain, palliative, what makes you feel better, what makes you feel worse. Yeah, ice and heat. So you've done temporary stuff. Every step of the way, there are things we can teach them, but we're teaching them under the radar. We're drawing their story out. We're applying our story to their story. And then there is work, play, and home. And we will dive deep into this work, play, and home, performance, less than, and quit. And I promise you, nothing will ever be the same for you in a consultation. You will spend a fraction of the time that you spend right now, but you'll get right to the real issues and they will feel like they are in the presence of a master. Again, 11 a.m. California time in the club. If you would like to join that for free, put club below and I'll go ahead and I'll give you access to that. Now, the next thing that you need to do, so we've built rapport, relieved concerns and fears, we find out what's really going on, why they're really here. Now we have to deal with 3 dimensions of stress. So the 3 dimensions of stress is in their present or past. What have they done stress-wise, mental, emotional stress, biochemical stress, and physical stress? And why do we need to do that? What do we need to accomplish? Well, eventually we need to get to the point that we can say, wow, no wonder you're in the shape you're in. It's an accumulation of stress over time. You've had, 9 car accidents. You were shot out of a cannon because you worked in a circus, because you were sold to the circus and raised by wolves, right? You've had a lot of stress. You've done a lot of crack cocaine. No wonder you're in the shape you're in. We have to enter the conversation in their mind. One of the questions is, why is this happening to me? If you're a chiropractor, how did I get this subluxation? Did I get it by being bitten by the subluxation dog? Right? If I'm doing acupuncture, how did I get this congestion of chi? Right? So those are the things that we need to do. Then we need to help them understand that this is classic. Why? Because if it's classic, they're in the right place, right? So this is classic. How it happened, what they're experiencing. You fell out of a tree when you were 8 years old at your grandfather's cherry farm. Are they listening? Yes. I'm drawing their story out of them. I can teach them. You fell out of a tree and hit your head, and since that moment, you've had these terrible headaches, just like this nerve chart. Those are exactly the types of stressors, we just talked about that can cause these kinds of subluxations or congestion of chi or whatever it is. So we need to make it really, really important to them. Again, it's like, oh, so you've got this neck pain and it goes like this and it goes down your arm. Interesting. I've never seen that before, but I'm really confident we can help. No, it's like, wow, no wonder. I mean, these are exactly the kinds of things. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, right? You root for bending over, blah, blah, blah. So you just want to draw their story out of them and teach them and help them understand. No wonder you're in the shape you're in. These are the kinds of things that do it. And then this is classic. Here's how it happened, and this is what you're experiencing. What most of us were taught to do was, you have neck pain, we help people with neck pain, you're in the right place. Right? Because that doesn't get the reptilian brain excited and listening. That's a script people are using. When you're talking about their story, you were shot out of a cannon, you fell out of a tree at your grandfather's cherry farm. That's a different experience. They are drawing their story out, we're applying their story, our story to their story. And then I'm going to be teaching them things like, so then, if I understand it correctly, you don't just want to feel better so you can golf again, but you would like to resolve this, planting seeds for resolve once and for all. Is that true? And they'll literally send it to the neocortex and they'll say, yeah, I do want to resolve it. Right. And that's how we teach them, is under the radar, applying our story to their story. It's all through a series of Socratic questions. The last piece is hope. Now, I understand if you're using a patient scare model, you don't want to give any hope at all. You want to scare the hell out of people, right? I am a zero scare kind of guy. I want to empower people to make reasonable and logical decisions. So we're not going to try and use fear manipulation and tie it up in a pink bow if it's in their best interest. I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to offer hope. I mean, wouldn't it be great if we could not only help you get feeling better, we could also help resolve this once and for all. Wouldn't that be great? God, that would be fantastic. Right? Would you like to play golf for the next 30 years? Yeah, I would. Well, wouldn't that be cool? Okay. Um, so those are the things we need to do: build rapport, relieve concerns and fears, find out what's going on. We're going to literally spend an hour on this subject in the club on Thursday. If you would like to join, you're welcome. Put club below. 3 dimensions of stress: mental, emotional, biochemical, physical. Classic. This is classic. Make it personal to them. And then hope. Wouldn't it be great if we could not only do this, or we could also do that? Now, in my world, we also have pre-consultations where we have our CA go in or a staff member go in and do a pre-consultation, which saves us a lot of time in the consultation. But for now, these are things that you can just start to play with. Let me know if you'd like to jump into the club, and we'll be diving into that on Thursday. Put club below. I'll give you a free month. And it's only 63 a month after that. And you'll see 3 times a month we're meeting and having these extremely detailed hour discussions. There is nothing out there that you can purchase for that price that will get you the depth and the detail of what we do. Guaranteed positively. If you think there is out there, let me know. I'm really interested. If you know other folks who you think would be interested in this information, please let them know about our free community here. And I think that's it. So as always, much love. Oh, yeah, and at 1:30 today, we'll be meeting here. And if you have any questions, just post questions here, or when I go live, you can post questions there and I'll answer any and all questions. So I hope that helps. As always, much love and aloha. Bye, gang.